Chris Fowler here with Damian Harris for The Athletic. We're here with ESPN's Chris Fowler. And Chris, you're going to Australia right after the championship game for the Australian Open like you normally do. How long has this season been for you? It's been the longest season we've ever had.
I prepared for it. Like the teams that are here, you're smart if you brace yourself for 4 tiers of playoffs, and the tennis is something I've done for a long time. I don't mind the long flight. I just get down there for the last 4 days. The playoff run is real, though. I mean,
everyone, give it up!
The wear and tear on the teams was the concern, not the media. But I think that thankfully we've seen far fewer injuries than I thought there'd be. Intense games layered on top of an already long season. I'm pleased how it's played out. If you're a hardcore fan, you don't feel like it's too much. Some people have said, it's a long playoff format, but we're just getting used to the newness of it, and it needs to be tweaked and improved, but I think it's been pretty spectacular, actually.
Chris, talking about these 2 teams playing for a national championship, both teams have had to pick themselves up off the mat at some point this year. Notre Dame obviously losing to NIU, Ohio State losing 2 games in the regular season, 1 to their biggest rival. Talk about the storyline, talk about the resilience of both teams being able to pick themselves up and get themselves to a national championship opportunity.
Yeah, that's the story of the season. I mean, I think redemption, to me, is one of the best things about a 12-team bracket. It's large enough to allow for teams losing 1 or 2 games and being able to still show what they're about at the end of the season. And none of the teams that made the semifinals would have been around in any other year of the postseason format. I don't think they would have gotten in the playoff. Obviously, 2 losses, it was a disqualifier. Notre Dame had quite a bad loss, the worst, quote, loss of the season in terms of the quality of the opposition. It was early, but would they have been allowed to bounce back from that? I don't know. And I think how they responded, a whole bunch of double-digit wins after that, how Ohio State responded after a shocking loss when their own fans were tearing them apart, has been really impressive. We've been able to witness that ringside with all of their playoff games. So that's a serious theme, is redemption. Texas had the same experience, and Penn State had the same experience. So it's been really cool to see that, because I think we always talk about grit and resilience, responding to adversity. Well, this has been the best year in the sport for examples of that.
You were the voice of College Football 25, the video game, something you'd wanted to do for a very long time. What was it like actually kind of hearing yourself in the game and going through that experience on that side? And have you started preparing for 26 now it's coming out?
I'm starting to get some emails and texts about 26. I haven't really responded to them yet because we're in the middle of the season. It's hard work. It's fun. It was a blast. You're sitting in your room with all these like sound panels and your microphone, your headset, little recorder, and you're hooked up to headquarters there, and they're listening to what you're doing. And these sessions are 3 or 4 hours at a time, and it's intense. And we had to make some modifications, because when you start screaming touchdown Air Force and you go down through the alphabet and you get to Wyoming, you don't make that many touchdown calls in a month, and you're trying to do it in a short amount of time. So I'm not whining about it, but it was an interesting experience to see if I could possibly come close to the intensity of a real game in a video game. Some fans say it's impossible. They want to know why you don't scream on the game like you scream in a real broadcast, but it's impossible to know the context of stuff. You're never going to get a 100% match on that, but hopefully it's close enough. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I did want to do it for a long time, and it was a really positive experience. Everyone involved in that game, every single person involved in every detail of it, the graphics, the visuals. Hopefully people appreciate that, because working with a bunch of pros where they all have really high standards for themselves, every detail matters to them, it was really cool. When you get to be involved in something like that, it's not unlike our production of a TV game. You're surrounded by people that are really motivated, have a lot of pride in themselves, and want to do their job perfectly, and that's what EA was.
So are you going to have to do them all over again? Or if you said touchdown Air Force, that's
a very good question.
That in the bank?
I hope it's in the bank. It's a very good question. I don't think it's going to be repeating everything. No, I hope hopefully they can live with a lot of that. But there will be updates and things that happened in the game that we weren't prepared for. We didn't have everything voiced. I thought we had every eventuality covered. A second down punt from the opponent's 40-yard line. We had that. I recorded that, because weird things happen in video games that don't happen in real football, I'm told. So, no, hopefully most of the work's done.
Well, with your legendary voice has come some legendary calls. And I have to ask you, because I have my own personal favorite Chris Fowler call.
Does it involve Alabama?
It involves – hold on, let me see if I can recreate it. Tua Tagovailoa fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama wins. So that's my personal favorite.
I know, and people say that's just that's the most basic, ballistic call you could have. I mean, there was no like wordplay involved in that. I mean, what you remember about the play though is that we were still in replays showing the sack that created the second and 26, which you figured that might be the decisive play in the game. If they don't come back from that, that's the play that won it for Georgia. So we're still showing replays. We kind of come back out live, barely in time to have the ball snapped. And so you got to reset, and we didn't have time to really look. Okay, like where are the matchups? Who do we like here? And they ended up setting 4 vertical, as you know, so they're picking on a particular DB on Georgia, which is always frenetic. And so I just said Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. That's what I said because it's all that came to my mind. He made one of the worst plays, and Saban said this, one of the worst plays in the history of postseason football to take a sack of 16 yards. And so making up for it on the very next play is storybook stuff. And I think what you have to tell yourself when you call any overtime is that the game could end on that play. Any play in any overtime period, no matter who's got the ball, can end the game, right? So I didn't expect the championship to be won on the very next play by Alabama. So you are kind of caught off guard on that. And yeah, I mean, Crimson Tide will not be denied. That's what I said after Alabama wins.
Chris Fowler, thank you for your time. Good luck calling the game and enjoy that flight to Australia.
Enjoy it, guys. Good luck with the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.